Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at one of the coolest spice builds I have ever seen in Go Battle League, and that is level 50 Perfect IV Shadow Ducklet in the Color Cup. These battles were submitted to the channel by a member of the community, so many thanks for the battle submission. Now Shadow Ducklet at level 50 doesn't even get to 1000 CP, and yet this trainer is somehow able to get wins. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out Shadow Ducklet in action in the Color Cup. Hopping to the first match, leading Kingdra into Alolan Marowak. This is a very nice lead for Kingdra, but with two water flyers in the back, may want to look and switch out to check and see if they have a counter in the back. Very nice catch, going to be catching the Shadow Bone onto Pelipper. Opponent staying in this matchup, they're going to bank energy and send in Lantern. Absolutely terrible news for the Pelipper, but good news for that Shadow Ducklet in the back that it's not going to have to face the Lantern. Lantern able to farm all the way down, in comes Kingdra. Kingdra can tank a Thunderbolt, but this Thunderbolt is definitely going to hurt as it's not a Thunderbolt, it's actually a Thunder. Now going to bait with the Octazooka, gets a shield and gets the debuff. That is quite nice. This should only be a Surf. It's double resisted and double debuff. That is not going to KO. Kingdra makes it to the Octazooka. This Octazooka is going to be resisted, but the Lantern is quite low. That's going to get the Lantern low. In comes Ducklet. Ducklet, wing attacks down in the back. Opponent rocking a Meganium, and Meganium is going to be baited by the Shadow Ducklet. Bubble Beam, gets a shield. Oh my goodness, Ducklet makes it to the Brave Bird, loses CMP. It's under 1000 CP. It's going to be losing CMP to everything. But with no shields down, Brave Bird is going to one-shot Meganium. In comes the Alolan Marowak. Marowak does have a ton of energy here. We see a shield from Ducklet. Opponent baits with a Bone Club. We see the Bubble Beam, but loses CMP. Is this a Shadow Bone? No, it's another Bone Club. That still almost KO'd the Ducklet, but Ducklet able to hang on, fire off the Bubble Beam. That gets the Marowak low. Marowak gets the farm down. Kingdra KOs, and that is a good game. Moving into the next match, leading Kingdra into Shadow Gyarados, and this Gyarados is running Dragon Tail, which is bad news. Those Dragon Tails tear through the Kingdra. We see a pivot into the Pelipper, and Pelipper will be answered with a regular shiny Victory Bell. Building up to the Hurricane, baiting with a Weather Ball, grabbing a shield from the opponent, and not building up again. Just going straight for the Weather Ball, just wanting to get some chip damage onto the Victory Bell. Victory Bell lets it through and is able to get the farm down. In comes Shadow Ducklet. Ducklet looking to get ahead on energy here and will shield up the Leaf Blade. Ducklet now has a bit of energy. We'll have to see, is the opponent going to send in their third? They are not. They're going to send in the Gyarados, going for the Bubble Beam. Bubble Beam won't KO, but does the opponent know Ducklet's moveset? They do not. In the back, they have a Torracat, some early rank spice, building up, banking the Brave Bird, sending in Kingdra. Octazooka takes care of the Torracat. Gyarados is gonna get farmed down, and that's game over. We've got mirror leads in the next match, Kingdra versus a Shadow Kingdra. Going to stay in this lead to start. We'll probably need to switch out of here eventually in case the opponent does have an anti-flyer in the back. Looks like actually going to stay in here, shield once, farm down, and hopefully leave with an Outrage for whatever the opponent has in the back. Goes for the blind Outrage, but they have Dedenne in the back, and this is going to be game over with two water flying types in the back. We see the screenshot being taken, in comes the Pelipper, and the sack swap onto the Ducklet, just showing the opponent what's in back before conceding the match. Picking up a bit of a tough lead in the next match, Kingdra going up against Trevenant. Trev is able to dramatically outpace in this matchup. Trevenant going straight for the Seed Bomb right off the bat. Kingdra is going to let this through. Seed Bomb does quite a lot of damage. Kingdra farming up here. Kingdra building up to the Outrage, going to bait with the Octazooka. Trying to grab a shield from the opponent, able to grab a shield. In comes the Pelipper, and Pelipper is going to be met with debuffed energy from the Trevenant. Trev goes for the Seed Bomb. Trevenant not able to make it to another move, and now the opponent is going to send in their own Pelipper. Up a shield, not going to bait. Full sending the Hurricane. It connects. Big damage onto the opposing Pelipper. Pelipper is going to fire off a charge move. At this point, honestly, I think you just save shields for Ducklet. Weather Ball not going to KO. In the the back, they have Talonflame, and Talonflame is about to get absolutely crushed by Shadow Ducklet. In comes the 2-shield Shadow Ducklet. Let's go. And we see the sack swap. No way. Catching a move. Flame Charge, not gonna KO. Oh my goodness, the disrespect. You love to see it. Talonflame going for the Flame Charge. We see a shield from Ducklet. And now Ducklet can go for the Brave Bird. Brave Bird takes down Talonflame. And that is a good game. Bit of a tricky lead in the next match, Kingdra into Credilli. Credilli has neutral to favorable matchups against this entire team, so definitely not a fun Pokemon to see. Credilli is going to farm up. Kingdra can live a move here. Kingdra lets it go and the Grass Knot lands. Kingdra continues to farm and we see a catching the Grass Knot onto Pelipper. This is still going to be neutral damage and that is going to hurt. Opponent now going to send in a Alolan Graveler. Things going from bad to worse. Will be able to make it to the Weather Ball, but Graveler will commit a shield. Kingdra is very, very low on HP, and that's bad news, because this Graveler will absolutely crush the Shadow Ducklet. We see a shield, Graveler left with the Rock Blast, fires off the Octazooka, but through on alignment, giving the opponent an entire free Volt Switch. Octazooka able to land, and not quite able to make it to a move, and now it's Shadow Ducklet versus the World. Ducklet commits the shield on the Stone Edge. In comes Credilli, and unfortunately, I think this game is going to end with a Ducklet getting Stone Edged. Bubble Beam gets the shield. Credilli makes it to the Stone Edge. This is going to be goodbye Shadow Ducklet, and that's game over. Moving into the next set, keeping the same backline, but now with a Quagsire lead. Quagsire definitely happy to catch a Alolan Marowak on the lead, and we see Quagsire, interestingly enough, is running Sludge Bomb instead of Earthquake. Quagsire firing off the Stone Edge, that connects and deals big damage to the Marowak. Marowak is going to return fire with a Shadow Bone. That is going to land. Opponent now going to send in Trevenant. Trevenant going to be met with a Sludge Bomb from the Quagsire. Sludge Bomb deals some chip damage, and Quagsire just gonna stay in here and let itself get KO'd by the Trevenant. Trevenant goes for the Seed Bomb. That is going to easily KO the Quagsire, and now in comes Pelipper. Trevenant is gonna fire off a Seed Bomb here. Seed Bomb not gonna threaten a shield, as Pelipper able to farm down and leave with a ton of energy. In the back, the opponent has Jellicent, and going straight for the Hurricane here, trying to start getting shields down. Hurricane able to land, and we see an aggressive switch into Ducklet. Ducklet would definitely not appreciate a Shadow Ball. We see a shield, and the opponent full sent the Shadow Ball, firing off the Bubble Beam. Unfortunately, the opponent is able to get a free Hex there. Bubble Beam is going to get the shield. Opponent sends in Marowak. Marowak gets farmed down by the Ducklet. Oh my goodness. Ducklet commits the shield. Jellicent goes for the Surf. Ducklet going for the farm down. And that is a good game. Moving into the next match, hitting Quagsire into Toxapex. Definitely a matchup where Earthquake would be nice. Opponent save switches into a Shadow Victory Bell, and those couple Razor Leafs before the Pelipper is brought in absolutely shred through Quagsire's HP. Unfortunately, Pelipper does lose CMP here, and is forced to burn a shield on a Leaf Blade. Pelipper returning fire with the Weather Ball. Weather Ball is going to land. Pelipper gets the farm down, but had to give up a shield to do so. Opponent can now send in Toxapex, and look to get an energy lead with Toxapex. Hurricane will do a solid amount of damage, but Toxapex is very bulky, able to absorb the Hurricane, farm all the way down. Back in comes Quagsire. Quagsire farming up, going for the Sludge Bomb. Opponent actually catches it onto a Bomb of Snow here. This Sludge Bomb does quite a bit of damage, and now in comes the Shadow Ducklet. Ducklet, honestly, I don't think it's going to survive a Weather Ball here. Weather Ball, Ducklet able to hang on and survive. Ducklet firing off the Bubble Beam, trying to debuff the damage from the Toxapex. Toxapex commits the shield. Toxapex not going to get the farm down, as Ducklet is able to make it to another Bubble Beam. Bubble Beam going to be no shielded. The question is, can Quagsire Mudshot down here? They're going to fire off a Brine. Brine not going to KO. Oh man, this Toxapex has a lot of energy. This is going to be close. Brine gets the shield. Quagsire looking for the farm down or the double up. Gets the double up, but unfortunately they reach a last second Brine, and that's game over. Moving into the next match, picking up a pretty nice lead. Quagsire going up against Charizard. This team triple counters Charizard. Opponent save switches into Credilli. And as we've seen, Credilli can be a difficult Pokemon for this team to deal with. Quagsire staying in here, gonna fire off the Sludge Bomb. And we see a shield from Credilli. Credilli going to return fire with the Grass Knot. This is gonna be grabbing a shield from the Quagsire. And now in comes Pelipper. Pelipper farming up. Pelipper tried to go for CMP, but the opponent ends up going for the extra. Weather Ball is going to land. Pelipper continuing to farm. Opponent overfarms and plays to a CMP tide that they do not win. Weather Ball is going to get Credilli low, and at this point, you can honestly just let Pelipper go. Opponent goes straight for the Stone Edge, and down goes Pelipper. In comes Ducklet. Shadow Ducklet will have to shield everything here. Look to farm down and leave with energy to take on the Charizard and whatever the opponent has in the back. Is the opponent going to send in the Charizard, or do we see the third? They send in the Zard. Ducklet firing off the Brave Bird here. Brave Bird, big damage onto the Charizard, and it's a Togedemaru in the back. Oh my goodness. Togedemaru getting absolutely torn to shreds by Quagsire. Quagsire looking to try and farm all the way down. Opponent gonna fire off a Fell Stinger, and unfortunately tried to go for a move, but Quagsire does lose CMP. Wild Charge does get the Quag extremely low. Quag looking to undercharge the Sludge Bomb here. Opponent commits the shield. Quag, it's a simultaneous KO. Ducklet versus Charizard. Ducklet gets the farm down and the win. Picking up a great lead in the next match, Quagsire into Salazzle. This team triple counter Salazzle. Opponent save switches into Araquanid, and there's a great counter available in Pelipper. Pelipper will be able to resist all of Araquanid's charge moves and hit for massive super effective damage with Hurricane. Araquanid just looking to debuff. Pelipper farming up here. Pelipper goes for a bait. Honestly, I think going straight for the Hurricane may have been better off here, as this is a very tough matchup for Araquanid, so I'm honestly not really expecting the opponent to try and fight for switch. Opponent fires off the Bug Buzz. That gets the Pelipper low. Pelipper unfortunately clicked on the Weather Ball instead of the Hurricane. Opponent no shields again, and switch advantage is lost. That is a bit unfortunate. Shadow Ducklet enters the field. Opponent makes it to one final Bubble Beam. Bubble Beam is going to land. We'll have to see. Do they send in the Salazzle? They do not. They send in Celebi. Ducklet going for the damage. Brave Bird connects. In comes Quagsire, but these Magical Leafs are shredding through the Quagsire. Celebi reaches a charge move. We see a no shield from the Quagsire, putting all faith into the Shadow Ducklet. But unfortunately, two shield Salazzle, I think, can probably win this just by virtue of Poison Fangs. Salazzle fires off the first Fang. We see a shield from the Ducklet. Ducklet is going to return fire with the Bubble Beam. Bubble Beam will, of course, debuff the Salazzle, but this Ducklet is rapidly running out of HP. Bubble Beam does get shielded. This is going to be close. Ducklet commits the shield on the Poison Fang. Can Ducklet make it to another move here? Ducklet gets to the Bubble Beam. Is this going to be enough to KO? Salazzle, pretty glassy. Ducklet, Bubble Beam, it barely does not. Ducklet, unfortunately, gets taken out by Salazzle, and that's game over. Hopping into the final match, picking up a terrible lead, Quagsire into Shadow Venusaur. We're going to see an immediate save switch into Pelipper. Venusaur staying in this matchup, and Venusaur is going to strike first. Firing off the Frenzy Plant, we see a shield from the Pelipper. Pelipper is going to fire off a Weather Ball here, not building up to the Hurricane, but Weather Ball would provide meaningful chip damage, so we do see a shield being used. Pelipper going for Weather Ball number 2 against the Venusaur, looking to apply some pressure. Venusaur double shields. My goodness. At this point, do you save the final shield for Ducklet? That's exactly what's going to happen. Now you just wait the clock, send in Shadow Ducklet, farm all the way down, shield once, and then just look to Brave Bird whatever the opponent has in the back. Venusaur is going to make it to the Frenzy Plant. We do see the shield from the Ducklet. What does the opponent have back there? Opponent has a Shadow Swampert. Let's go. Ducklet, Brave Bird, big damage onto the Shadow Swampert, and we see an incredible catch, catching the Hydro Cannon onto Quagsire. We'll have to see what do they have in the back. They have Abomasnow. Abomasnow is going to fire off the Weather Ball here. Weather Ball is going to land. Quagsire able to hang on and make it to the Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb definitely going to hurt. Abomasnow now below half health. Back in comes Ducklet. Ducklet will be met with the Weather Ball. Is this going to be enough here? Weather Ball onto the Ducklet. Ducklet hangs on, makes it to the Brave Bird. This is going to KO, but there's still the Swampert left alive in the back. Ducklet KOs Abomasnow, farms down the Swampert, and that is a good game. All in all, Shadow Ducklet, I was not expecting that kind of damage from Brave Bird, considering it doesn't even get to 1000 CP. But man, these were some very entertaining battles. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.